No So Kopo with Jay and Tim. I am Timothy Home,
I am Jason Verney.
and this is the Not So Korean podcast. And so we are recording live from UK's Koreatown itself, or at least I am. Another person joining us named Jason, he's in a different part of the country at the moment. But usually we are in New Malden, the largest Korean community in Europe. And in this podcast series, we usually talk to one another and sometimes with special guests about what we know about Korea,
What we don't know about Korea,
what we want to know about Korea.
and sometimes what we don't want to know about Korea.
Yes, and in this special episode, you could say it's a bit unique because we're recording video this time, which is very first time we've ever done that. Is that right, Jason?
Yeah, we're recording video. We're actually testing Zoom. Now, if I was in my home environment, only, as Tim said, only one of us is in New Malden at the moment. I'd have a mic set up as well, and Tim would have something else as well. We have a kind of mini studio environment. But if, because this is different, we're trying this out. So if you listen to this on Spotify or Apple Music or any other system, then you'll hear the voices. If voices sound a bit twangy, it's probably because it's a Zoom. But if you're watching this on YouTube, then apologies that you can see our faces. I'll speak for me there anyway.
Right. And you want to say anything about what you've been up to lately or what you're doing at the moment?
I have been, well, dare I mention it, we've mentioned it on so many different episodes, well, a couple of episodes that I've been editing. I finally finished all that editing for the festival. We had the festival. I've had some family stuff going on as well. And I posted an article on my minimovie.com website about this podcast. I've been handing out our brand spanking new business cards that we mentioned.
Yes. Or name cards, as they call them in Korea.
Yeah, and that is interesting, isn't it? They call them name cards, yeah. But so I've been doing that, and family included. So yeah, it's other than that, I believe you've been up to some stuff, at least. Well, actually, I will just preempt people that this episode is a bit different to other ones, not only because we're in different places, but because we are covering one little thing that happened, one main event that happened. Basically, the last episode was meant to happen a few days ago. We put something up on our social media saying that the episode might be a little different or be a little treat for people. And this one is mainly covering an event, which probably leads on to what Tim's been up to. But I think he's been up to a bit more. So Tim, what have you been up to?
Well, as you mentioned just before, we did have that big festival on Chuseok. Well, it's just before Chuseok, technically. But we were so busy with that, and we actually released our last proper episode was on that day, I believe.
I think so.
And so we were a little, I think, tired out after all that busy activity. But it was a really enjoyable festival. I don't know. I don't think we've had a chance to really chat about the whole experience yet, have we?
We kind of, the festival finished, we interviewed quite a few people, and we were exhausted, and then I had to disappear. And I mean, we've got so much footage and audio snippets of interviews and also footage from the day that we're still sharing on social media as we speak, I guess, or in the last few days.
I uploaded a couple of interview clips, I should say, just like short 1 minute things, but we're hoping to release the full videos, or maybe a combination of all the videos together or something. We haven't quite figured that out yet, but we did about, I guess, 4 or 5 interviews, and then two podcasters interviewed us as well, right?
Yeah, it was a very interesting day. We didn't do hundreds of interviews, but even the few we did make it feel like, actually, we could probably mention this now because I'm going to forget otherwise, but at the end of one of the people we spoke to was Mind in Kingston, That's their full
Yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah,
And anyone
right.
will know that the mental health charity Mind. Now they've got one that's kind of its own entity, but it's Mind in Kingston, and they're a little
Yeah.
bit different, and they're connected to Korea. I don't know if you want to mention this, but in the fact that or elaborate on
Well,
this.
they're reaching out to the Korean community in Kingston. I
Yes.
mean, they're talking to everybody in Kingston, but they especially want to focus on the Korean community because it's such a large part of Kingston, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, you interviewed the lady who was there that day. She was giving out
Yeah.
some
She was.
information about it.
Yeah, I mean, even all their posters on their stall, or half of them had it in Hangul, in Korean, about, come and be
Yeah,
recruited, being a volunteer. Or no, sorry,
yeah, they're
volunteer.
hiring somebody. I think it's even more than a volunteer. Maybe they're paying
Yes,
them. I'm not sure, but
and they
I don't
want
know
to.
if they found someone to fill
Yeah,
that position yet or not, but if you're interested, you should check it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give some details in the link, the show,
Mhm.
sort of basically the show notes.
Right.
But yeah, I just had to mention that because I'm bound to forget at the end of the episode. We'll probably be doing some
Okay.
stuff with them
Yeah.
again, but they're looking for. Well, they're helping people with sorry, social issue, not social, health issues, mental health issues, but especially Korean people. They're reaching out to them, as Tim said. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched upon in the interview that
yeah,
some Korean people or Asian people in general have been experiencing more racism since the
yeah,
COVID thing happened, and that has also been affecting their mental health.
yeah,
On top of the pandemic itself being
yeah.
a issue for everyone, right?
That's
So,
right. That's what we brought up in the interview. But
yeah,
yeah, so what was the other thing? Oh yeah, you've also been up to something we mentioned briefly in another episode, which is
yeah.
the VNA thingy.
Yes, and just before we go into that, I just want to say a big thanks to Justina Jung of the
Yes.
KBCE,
Yep.
not only for holding the amazing festival in New Malden,
Yeah.
but also she was the one who invited us to be involved in this kimchi making video for an art project, which
Yeah.
was shown at the Victoria and Albert Museum, also known as the V&A.
Yeah.
And so we had a part in that little art exhibition as part of the London Design Festival or the London Design Week.
Yeah, and that extraordinary day that we touched on before. But we
Yeah,
will also cover that in a full episode.
yeah.
Um, so
So the people who created this thing, they're called the decorators.
yes,
And so I didn't actually see them at the museum when I visited there this past week, but I did get to see their little exhibition display there, and that was nice to
yeah,
see.
I really wanted
Uh,
to.
yeah,
Yeah, I really want to. I
you
mean, yeah, sorry.
you can see clips of us in the video on a monitor there. It's kind of old school, like I don't know, it almost looks like a VHS, like
Yeah,
square TV,
I,
but
I saw
you
the
can see,
photo.
especially Jason, you can see your face chewing, chomping down on some kimchi
Yeah,
and bread.
I think they wanted a close up of me. Well, they're called the decorators. I was almost
Yeah,
decorating my face with kimchi and cheese for basically stuff.
right.
A piece of toast in
Yeah,
my mouth with cheese and
you still
kimchi.
have some left over from 2 weeks ago on your
Yeah, it's
beard.
somewhere. It's somewhere here. No, I've had a couple of washes since then. But actually,
Right.
that leads me on to that's something I wanted to get back for that, and other things have told me I couldn't make it. That was one thing I missed, but there was another thing that I also missed, which was Chuseok related, and that
Yeah.
is kind of what this episode is about. So what I'll probably do now, what we should do, Tim, is probably, if you don't mind, just is talk a little bit about that event, which was a few days
Yeah.
ago. Actually, let me just preempt people how this came about.
Mhm.
Because it's Chuseok, which is the harvest festival, which we've mentioned in other episodes and just now. There's a
Mhm.
woman. There's our opening music, which you would have heard by Kaya. One half of Kaya is Jiyeon, uh,
Yeah.
Eun Jung, yeah, and she plays the gayagum, and she.
Mhm.
So I've known her for probably about 8 or so years, and she used to be a member of the Korean Artists Association, perhaps still is. And so I used to film events with her involved at KCC, Korean Cultural Centre London. been around her house for sort of food after and all that. But she's a lovely person. Her husband's nice as well, and family. And yeah, it just so happened that while I was out of town, this other event was happening in the cafe that we love. So shall
Right.
I pass it over to you?
It's called The Place, and it's located in New Malden on the high street, so sort of in the middle of the high street. And
Yeah.
they have these like Wednesday evening live music sessions, and I think it's almost every week now. And so, yeah, you were invited by Eun Jung, is it, or Eun Jung? Sorry.
Yeah, Eun Jung. And I was actually invited by the pianist Duncan, who you've met before. He's a
Right. Yes.
he's a guy.
So he was there as well.
Yeah, he's
And so, unfortunately, you couldn't make it, but I went in lieu of you, so to
yeah,
speak.
yeah,
And I got a little bit of video, like I don't know, 10 minutes maybe, live video.
yeah.
So
Really good.
yeah, you might be able to see that on our social media. I'm not sure if it's still
Well,
available there or not.
well, we're going to put it on this episode as well, as at
Right.
least if people are listening to this and not watching our faces and our talk, then they'll, if they're listening to it, they're going to hear basically the 10-minute set that Tim captured. He did actually get a bit more than that, but this is her playing solidly, I think.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, and apologies if you hear
Yeah.
any background noise, because it was very busy
Yeah.
that night and there were so many people there moving around and stuff. So, but I did the best I could from my position, which wasn't very great to see.
Yeah,
But
and that's
anyway.
fine. I mean, as I say, this is kind of, and as I said before, this is a test, this episode, so we're doing it by Zoom. The audio isn't perfect anyway, and also you did it, live, so it's kind of, you're always going to get potential lag, and also you did it in portrait mode because it's live, so obviously it's like that. So, but what I saw, it was really good, pretty good quality, and really good, enjoy the atmosphere, and also I recognised one or two faces that are also involved with the KAA. But yeah, so what you shot was, it really captured the evening, because I mean we've been in there before, and you can sit along the sides, just watching, like it's a coffee shop in the daytime. So, but in the evening it turns into a kind of a jazz night, but with poetry and stuff as well. And
I mean they had some Korean dancing there that night as well, which I did record but not live.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the fan dance, Buche Chum. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there was also some like Japanese jazz or something after that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Anyway, I recommend going there some evening. You might not hear Korean music every week, but it's still nice.
Yeah, that's right. There has been when I've been there, or when we've been there, there's a Japanese singer or poet, and other people. So it's a really interesting thing, and the good thing is they're trying to help the community, and also in times of COVID, they're trying to get people together, I guess, and also it helps the business itself. It helps the business itself, and other than pubs doing comedy nights and that kind of thing, open mics, you haven't really got anywhere else. So I think it's really good. So what we were going to do in this episode, we normally do play out, you see, with the song, New Arirang, but in her set, and I believe it was right at the end, she does actually play a version of Arirang or New Arirang. So we thought, in place of our regular fade out music, which you heard at the beginning, we're going to play this whole 10 minutes of that. So this is why this show is a little bit different. It's kind of very different to other shows, but we also do have coming up, well, this is a bit more New Malden focused, but we have mentioned it briefly on the show, there's a tea room opening up on the 1st of October. So when you actually see or hear this episode, it might have passed, but obviously it'll be open. Unless they've moved that date, it's meant to be 1st of October. So it's on and around my birthday, actually, but I won't be there. Again, you might be there. But
I'll have to celebrate your birthday without you, Jason.
That's fine. Well, actually, as you get older, you want to celebrate it without yourself anyway. So I'll try and forget about it.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I stopped aging when I turned 30. I'm still 30 in my mind.
Yeah, I won't say any more than that.
But yeah, so it's called a tea room, and it's very close to the place, actually, the other cafe. So there's going to be another
Yeah.
new Korean cafe,
Mm.
but it looks sort of European style, or what
Yeah.
Koreans think of as European style, I suppose, with fancy lighting and furniture
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I
But I
think
haven't seen exactly what it looks like because it's not open yet. As
no,
of yet.
I've only seen like chandeliers and stuff. I mean, only
Yeah,
chandeliers, but I mean, I've only seen when I've walked past, they've been doing stuff inside, and
right.
yeah, it's just another place that's is Korean owned, and it's yeah, somewhere else to go when you get bored of other
Yeah.
ones.
But I
Um,
think we did learn recently that the place,
yeah,
literally called the place, is the first Korean cafe in New Malden, or at least one of the first,
yes,
and at least the one that's lasted the longest. Let's say up to now. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. I remember, as I've mentioned before as well, when I came down to New Malden,
Yeah.
probably 8 or 9 years ago, getting on for 10 maybe, there was that place, and I knew of it, and of course it has the Korean buzzer, when
Yeah.
when your food or drink is ready. I think they're not using it now because of the COVID thing, but they had the buzzer like Bingsu did.
Right.
They give you, when your tea's ready, you just get the
Right.
vibration, you go and collect
Yeah.
your drink.
Yeah.
or
But
taste.
otherwise, there's nothing too distinctively Korean about it. I mean, they do have a few things that are Korean, I think, but
Yeah, they have a
generally speaking, it looks more like a British cafe than, say,
yeah,
um, Bingsu or something does.
that's right. They do have some sort of bingsu in there, apparently,
Right.
and they also
Yeah.
have hangul on the wall as well, so you can see it's
Right.
Korean. And they do like avocado and cheese or something, which is, I think, is a very
Mhm.
Korean kind of thing, or
Yeah.
avocado prawn
Yeah,
and
that's
cheese or
true.
something.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Paninis.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, so what we thought we'd do with this episode, it being very different, we will get back to. And as I say, we're trying this out. We're going to have, videos, more video. We've actually had a request or two to have more video related content. So this will be a
Yeah, so
test.
we'd like to get your feedback on this. People who are watching or listening,
Yeah,
do you like this style? Do you want us to keep doing Zoom calls? Do you like us to be together in one video, or how?
yeah,
What would you prefer?
yeah. And we're going to get the full mic set up and that. As I say, we're in two different places right now, so it's not that easy.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, any feedback is always welcome on any platform, social media or whatever. So we'll play out with that music, and we'll just say our farewell in the usual way, and
Okay, okay.
speak to you
Yeah.
in the next episode, I guess.
All right. Cheers.
Okay, and Yongi,
Keseo.
see ya.
My next piece is my own composition. As you know, Korea has divided into South and North over 70 years. But apart from all the issues, the most important thing we shouldn't forget is half of the people. So I put this as half of the people there. Now is, could you sing with me? I'm not very good at singing, but I'm trying.